moment to arrive and settle on your mat as we begin. And take an inhale in through your nose and a long, smooth exhale out through your mouth. And notice, even with the breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, whether you feel settled in this moment or unsettled. Is there a fidget or a movement that you need to help yourself feel settled? Without judgment, adjust and get comfortable. And notice if your hands are facing up or facing down. You may feel more settled by turning your hands to face down. And take in an inhale once again through your nose of settled, calm, peaceful breath. And a huge, long, smooth exhale. The exhale longer than the inhale. And one more settling breath. The exhale, let it out. And I invite you to bring a hand to heart and another hand to top as a way of settling into your body and your heart space and into this beautiful space together on this Saturday, for those of you who are here live. Settling into your body and settling your body in this moment. And I offer settling as a little bit different than grounding. It's arriving and resting. And settling invokes peace and calm. It doesn't mean that everything is fixed. It's relaxing in and finding ease, but also finding a bit of safety. And so as you sit here, notice what helps you feel more settled. Is it the hand to heart? Is it the breath, breathing through your nose and out through your mouth? Is it your belly? Is that what you notice that helps you feel more settled? Or is it your sit bones, perhaps? And you may notice that none of those are your special place of feeling settled, connected, and more calm. And if that's the case, perhaps try palms over your eyes. Does that help you feel more settled with your fingers reaching towards the sky? Take in an in-breath here. And an exhale, let it out. And then choose wherever you feel most settled. Hand to heart, hand to belly, hands over your eyes. Tilt your pelvic bowl forward and align your spine once again. Each vertebrae one atop the other, all the way up through your neck, through the crown of your head, reaching tall. Huge breath in. And an out breath of perhaps that unsettled energy that may be spinning around. For many of you, there's lots going on is the word that I hear right now. So breathing in calm, settled, peaceful energy. Breathing out a little bit of that tension, stress, spin, whatever your version of it is. And taking a moment here to pause. Pause and notice that unsettled energy. And can you welcome it as just a normal reaction to life? It can be there. Doesn't have to be a problem. Just allowing it to float around. And it may decide to float out or it may not. Just notice how it feels. And as we move today, we'll connect with that energy and shift it and move it around. And if it would like to go, it can go. And if it would like to stay, perhaps it will stay. The invitation here is to focus less on the unsettled and to focus more on the settled. And for many of us, that's where the tension is. And so the invitation is to think about all the things that you have accomplished recently. Think about all the things that are going better than expected. Breathing in that hope and accomplishment and better than expected. And breathing out any resistance to what you haven't accomplished yet. Letting it be. And breathing in thoughts of what feels good and what is going well. And breathing out the focus on what isn't going well. Letting it be, not making it go away, just letting it be. Breathing in that warmth of the December holiday winter season and the darkness, letting all of that in. Breathing out the busy and stress, letting it go. And a pause, just to notice how you feel in this moment. Do you feel a little more settled? And in yoga, we often talk about shifting our focus, and our heart will grow. And so this class is also an invitation to shift your focus. And as we begin, I want to share one of my favorite poems, which I come back to a lot, called Here and There. If you take the T away from the word there, you get the word here. Here and there are really very similar to the I, and yet they are so extremely far apart in reality. As a culture, we strive for there. When I get there, all my problems will be solved and life will be so much better. My edit would be, I will feel settled. But every time we get there, it is like the proverbial carrot dangling in front of us. There's always a new there to get to. If we are always trying to get there, not dropping down into here while getting to there, we are out ahead of ourselves and missing the joy of living in the here. Being here has to be practiced every day. You can't get here if you are always practicing getting there. In the rush and tumble of everyday life, drop the T as many times as you can and get to here. Because at the end of our lives, we will finally realize that there was no there. There was only ever here, this, here, now. So as I was thinking about this class and feeling unsettled, I was reminded of that poem and the idea that unsettled comes from thinking that there is a there. And so what if we could settle into the here, in the moment of the here, in the joy of the here, the peace of the here. We think that there we will feel satisfied and settled and happy. But what if we could begin to feel that here? We just might feel a little bit more settled. So once again, taking in an inhale of settled, this idea of settled, whatever it might feel for you, or even a little bit more settled. And perhaps breathing out a bit of unsettled energy, letting it go. And bringing your hands to heart center, rubbing your palms together, finger pads touch, warming up your hands. Bring your thumbs together, press your thumbs into your sternum, elbows out wide. And set an intention for this morning. Perhaps to shift some of that unsettled energy, or to welcome it in, to let it in and let it shift on its own. To invite settled, to shift your focus. Thinking about what that might look like and feel like for you. And an invitation to use this practice as a practice, to experiment and play with that in a light way. And we'll see how we feel at the end. Taking in one more inhale. And exhale, let it out. And lower your hands and open your eyes, and we'll come back together. We'll start with a shrug. Shrug your shoulders all the way up to your ears as high as you can. Tilt your neck back. Bring your occiput right into the shoulders, massaging it, squeezing everything tight. Lots of energy, noticing it all. Exhale, drop your shoulders and let it go. Once again, squeeze those shoulders all the way up to your ears as high as you can, and gently bring your occiput back into that cradle. Pinching it all together, lots of sensations. Drop your shoulders, notice how it feels. Lower your hands by your sides, wiggle your fingers. Inhale, both arms up towards the sky. Right thumb and middle finger will grasp the left wrist. Inhale, reach tall, lengthen both side bodies with grace. Huge inhale. Exhale, tip gently to the right, lengthen the whole left side body. Left hip grounds into the earth. Inhale, breathe breath into every nook and cranny. Bathing any of that unsettled tension with the oxygen, and notice what happens. And exhale whatever you'd like to send away. Inhale, tug the left wrist gently to the right. Exhale, blow it out. Come back to center. Switch the clasp of your hands. Inhale, reach tall once again. Whole right side body lengthens, right hip reaches downward. Exhale, tip towards the left. Lengthen and enjoy the stretch on the whole right side body here. Inhale, that hope settled, relaxed, calm, peaceful. And exhaling that stress, tension, jitter, unsettled. One more inhale, bathing every nook and cranny with intention. And exhale, let it go. Come back to center. Open your arms out towards your side. Reclasp your hands at your sacrum. Press your fist towards the floor, shoulders down and back. Take in a huge inhale into the open-hearted chest space here. Bathing the back of the heart and every nook and cranny of the lungs with oxygen. And exhale, breathe it out, drop your shoulders, drop your hands towards the floor. One more huge breath in. Exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Notice how it feels and pause. Letting the energy shift here. Inhale with chin to chest. Exhale, energy shifting, moving around. Perhaps that energy tingles, dancing around. Let them tingle and move around. Bring your chin back to neutral. Release your arms, shake your hands out, letting the energy move lightly with the shift. Reach your arms directly out towards the side walls. Press your palms into the wall. Your wrists will be flexed. Pinch your scapula together and enjoy that release. Tight, 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 tight. Lots of movement, sensation. Exhale, release. With intention, pinch the scapula tight once again. Exhale, let it go. Wrap your arms in front. We're going to come into eagle arms. If you prefer giving yourself a hug, you can do that. Right elbow under left. Bring your palms to face you, and then palms or thumbs come together. Whatever works for your shoulders and arms. Inhale your elbows to shoulder height and pause. Exhale. Inhale, lift them up an inch. Exhale, lower to shoulder height. Notice your elbows, press both elbows towards the side walls and notice what happens between your scapula. Lots of sensations. Relax the elbows. Inhale, lift up an inch. Exhale, drop your elbows into your belly. Release your head and neck right into the cradle of your arms and enjoy it. Huge inhale into everything that you notice here. Potentially lots of energy shifting. Exhale, release. Bring your chin back to neutral. Untangle your arms, press them into the side walls once again. Spread your fingers wide, wide, wide. Your fingers are a huge source of energy, huge holiday pie shapes between each one. Engage every muscle fiber, every tendon in your hands. Spread them wide, 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 wide. Huge energetic shift here. Pinch your scapula together. Release, relax your fingers. make a fist. Fling the water out your fingers, release your fingers like a starburst. Make a fist, fling the water, make a fist, fling the water. Point your fingers towards the sky. Exhale, lower them towards the floor. Inhale, fingers towards the sky. Exhale, lower them towards the floor. Bring your palms back to face the side wall. Turn your head towards the right, gaze at those beautiful fingers, spread your fingers wide, come back to center. Gaze to the left, spread your fingers wide, relax, come back to center. Lower your hands, roll your shoulders out for a moment, noticing all the sensations, all the energy shifts. Perhaps it feels even more unsettled than when we began. Noticing that unsettled is literally energy, vibrations, and that you can move it as you do different motions. Roll your shoulders in the opposite direction and enjoy. Extend your arms back out towards the side walls. Wrap them in front, left elbow under right. Come into eagle arms on this side. Palms will face you, palms come together. Grasp your thumbs. Inhale your elbows towards your shoulders and pause. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back to shoulder height. Press your elbows in opposite directions. Enjoy the sensations in the back body, breathing into all of them, noticing the energy move. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, round into the cradle of your arms. Drop your head and neck and enjoy. Huge inhale. Exhale, let it out. Another huge inhale into the back body. Exhale, moving energy. Bring your elbows back to shoulder height. Untangle your arms. Lower them by your sides. And another roll or two or three. Notice what your body craves. And we'll move the block out from underneath us and come to hands and knees. I would keep your blocks nearby. You may like them for the sequence that we're going to do. So you can put them on the front of your mat if you have them, and if you don't, they're not needed. If you have a blanket for under your knees, grab that, and we'll start hands and knees, tabletop. Take a moment and spread your fingers wide, 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 equal pie shapes, palms pressed down well, the front part of both, all the knuckles pressed downward. Elbows are engaged, shoulders are in the, humeral heads are in the shoulder sockets, back and flat, belly is engaged. Inhale, arch into cow pose and enjoy the lengthening in the front of the body. Exhale, round, suck your belly all the way up, drop your head and neck and enjoy it. Inhale for cow, move the spine, bathing it with movement and shifting energy. Reach the crown of your head towards the sky and send attention to anything you notice in this cow. Round all the way up into the cat, reach to your belly, high, 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 drop your head and neck. And come back to center. Shift your hips back, come into child's pose, and you can do it with your knees together or knees apart. Notice what feels good. Walk your hands long in front. If you have a block and you can reach it, put it under your forehead in child's pose so you have a strong connection to the earth below. And notice if child's pose is where you feel settled. Many people find head down or child's pose to be the magic spot where they feel calm. Notice how this feels for you. You may love it or not. Inhale into that pocket behind the heart, into your belly that's all squished up. Exhale, shifting energy. Wiggle your fingers a little farther forward. Stretch your armpits, your side body here. And take a moment to shift your focus to what's going well right now. What feels good? What relationships are nourishing? Perhaps the beauty of winter, wherever you are. Where I am, we don't have winter, and yet it's absolutely, well, it's colder than usual, but it's beautiful at the beach. Beautiful sunrises, beautiful sunsets.
It's one of the most beautiful times of the year. So what does winter look like where you are? Can you embrace it and enjoy it? Settle into it. Letting go of whatever isn't done. What if it doesn't need to be done? What would it look like to simplify and decide that you're already there? Here is there. Perhaps choosing something that's making you feel unsettled that just you're not going to do anymore. What would settled do? What would simple do? Huge inhale and exhale. If you have the block, move it out of the way. We're going to shift forward right into Sphinx pose. You're going to untuck your knees, extend them long behind you, lower your belly and the front of your hips to the floor. Forearms will be on the floor, fingers will be spread wide, elbows directly under your shoulders, tops of the feet on the floor. Notice the front of your hips connecting into the earth. Lift up, heart shines forward. Don't overextend your back. You may have a very low Sphinx, and that's fine. Gaze is forward. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky and heart is open. Notice if your spit bones help you feel settled. Breathing into your heart here. Exhale, let it go. One more inhale here, deep inhale into the heart space, grounding the front of the sit bones and the top of the feet, settled on the earth, elbows settled, hands settled, enjoying it all. Exhale, let it go. Curling your toes, pressing back up to hands and knees. Hips come back gently to an easeful child's pose. Release the back for a moment. One breath here. Coming back onto your hands, we're going to curl our toes and move straight up to downward dog. Reach your hips skyward. Feet can be wide or narrow. Notice what feels good to you and pause here to enjoy it. Downward dog can be a very settling position. Lift up all 10 toes and lower them down, sending roots into the earth. Notice the balls of your feet on the earth. Lift up high onto your tiptoes, both of them. Heels as high as you can, engaging the backs of the legs, reaching your sit bones, the apex. Press into your hands, reach those hips high up towards the sky. Lower your head and neck. Slowly lower your heels towards the floor and engage everything that wakes up there. Enjoy it. Bend one knee, press the other heel towards the floor. Bend the other knee, press your heel towards the floor. Lift up once again onto your tiptoes. Reach your sit bones high. Press into your hands. Reach those sit bones up and back. Lower your heels to wherever they would like to go. Take a moment to connect your both palms, fingers, everything into the floor, nice and stable. Ball of the left foot grounds into the earth. Engage your belly. Inhale, raise your right foot up towards the sky into a three-legged dog. Heel presses into the back wall. Everything engaged here. Press the heels strong. Every muscle engaged in the body. Huge inhale, pressing the heel towards the back wall. Exhale, gently bring your foot between your hands. We're going to come into Anjaneyasana and a low lunge. If you have blocks here, I highly recommend them. Bringing the blocks under your shoulders, you can put your hands or your fists on them. Wiggle your right toes as far forward as you can. Shift your knee back. If you don't have blocks, rest your hands gently on your thigh, not reaching them up in the air quite yet. Taking a moment here to feel settled on one leg and one knee. Arrange in a way that you need to feel settled so that that left hip can release.
Breathing into your heart space, all the way down through your spine, right into that left hip. And exhale, settle into the hip, stretching, releasing with kindness. Softening a little, not overstretching. Breathing in once again, right into the front of the left hip. Exhale, sink in a tiny bit more. If you wish, you can bring your hands to heart here, one hand atop the other. Notice how everything is working and releasing here. Very settled and strong. Breathing into that heart space, and if you need your blocks for support, use those. Exhale, settle in. See if you can close your eyes here. Exhale, let it out. Gently straight your right knee. Come back into a half split. So your right toes will reach towards the sky. If you have the blocks, walk them back so they're still under your shoulders. Stretch your toes toward your nose. Ankle is flexed. Your back is straight. Crown of the head is reaching towards the sky. If you have your hands on the blocks, they're probably on your fists. Otherwise, rest your hands lightly on your thighs. You're actually quite upright in this half split. Toes reach back towards your nose. Spread your toes wide, wide, wide. Use the energy there to waken the back of the legs, shifting the energy there. And in trapped energy, we carry a lot of tension in our hamstrings. As you stretch your toes, you'll notice energetic shifts. Relax your toes. Point your toes. And flex your toes. Take an inhale, sending the breath right down in, right down all the way into your belly. As you exhale, bend your elbows and hinge forward slightly. Back is still flat, head is up. One more breath. Right in through your toes this time, coming right up the leg, right back to your belly the other way. And the exhale out your mouth. Lower your right foot to the floor. Walk the blocks up alongside your knee. Curl your back toe and come up into a high lunge here. You can keep the blocks or move them. Hop the back foot forward and come into a pyramid pose. Pyramid has both toes reaching towards the front of the mat. Jet lining forward, and there's about a foot lane between your feet. Taking in an inhale here. Exhale, hinge forward at the waist and fold forward slightly. Lots of energy shifts in the back of the leg. As we shift energy, we're moving the unsettled around, softening into it, not resisting it. No overstretching, which was the invitation for the blocks today. If you don't have blocks, keep your hands on your upper thigh and back flat. More folding not needed. Huge inhale. We tend to think more is better and it will solve that unsettled, but softening into the here and just exploring with kindness. If you have the blocks, walk them forward about a foot. Shift your weight into that front foot. Lift your back foot up in the air, coming into a half splits this way. Your left heel is reaching towards the back wall, balanced on one foot, and your hands are on the blocks. You can also put your hands on the floor here, whatever works for you. Your left leg is at 90 degrees, reaching towards the back wall, extended fully. Lift up all 5 toes on the right foot if you can, and lower them down. One more breath here. Exhale, release. Lower your back foot to the floor. We're going to cartwheel right up into a warrior 2 for fun. Bend the front knee. Your back foot's likely going to have to hop back a foot or 2. Arms reach in either direction, coming into warrior 2. Huge inhale right into the heart space, right down through behind the heart, down into your belly. Exhale, gaze over the right middle finger, breathing it out. One more inhale deeply, right down through your central torso and core, all the way into your belly. Exhale, sink into warrior 2. and enjoy it. One more breath here. Exhale, tip back into reverse warrior. Fan open the front ribs, left hand slides down the left leg, right ribs fan open. Right hand reaches towards the crease between the ceiling and the back wall, assuming you're inside. Breathing into the front right ribs. Exhale, come back to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands back down to the floor, hop the back foot forward, coming into a forward fold. If you have the blocks, feel free to use them today to keep your head up, especially for those of you who don't like head down, and keep your head up. If you don't have blocks and you wish to fold forward into a big release, go ahead and do that. Elbows can reach, hands can reach the opposite elbow. Notice what feels good to you. Notice if you need to widen your feet. Test it out. See what works for you. Not what's better, but what works for you. Lift up all 10 toes, spread them wide, lower them down. Engage your belly. Lower your hands to the floor and roll up slowly, inch by inch by inch by inch. Your head will be the last to rise. And come to stand. Give yourself a moment here to literally settle. Notice the sand in the hourglass moving down through your body, coming down to settle. Lift up all 10 toes and lower them down. Settle them on the earth. Play with what feels good with your feet, all 4 corners of the feet on the earth. Draw the earth's energy up through your legs, to your knees, to your thighs, right to your belly. Tilt your pelvis forward. Stack your spine. Huge inhale into the space behind your heart. Heart is light. Exhale, drop your shoulders, palms open towards the front. Let it go. Another huge inhale into the heart space. And an exhale, let it go. Taking a moment here to feel settled. For some of us, we find settled through our feet. Notice if standing with bare feet, toes spread, is that your sense of settled? And is your sense of settled with your hands open towards the front, wiggling your fingers? Or as you inhale, bring a hand to heart and the other hand to top. Is that settled? Checking in with your heart space. Breathing in once again, kindness, hope, appreciation for all the things you've accomplished, all the things you've done, all the things that are going well right now. And exhale, let it go. And breathing in the excitement of the holidays. Some of the current unsettled is because of the holidays and because of the celebrations to come and the family to come and the unknowns. And so allowing that, letting perhaps the unsettled be excited. Letting that spread around like fairy dust through the rest of your body and enjoy it. And one more inhale, whatever feels good to you, with intention, things that feel good, inhale them, let them circulate through your body. Exhale, let it out. Lower your hands by your sides. We're going to do a tree pose today. Lifting up all 5 toes on your left foot, spreading them wide and lowering them down. This one's for Amy, who's here, and I haven't seen her in a while. She came to connect in nature, so I'm reminded of yoga amidst the trees of Muir Woods. Kickstand your right foot into the left calf. So we will envision Muir Woods as we do this. Raise the right sole of the foot right onto the left calf. I don't recommend higher. Today, finding settled means not pushing yourself. Dropping that right knee back towards engaging your right butt. Bring your hands to heart center, palms together, thumbs connect into your sternum. And pause. A settled tree. Not the strongest, tallest tree, just a settled tree, perhaps an orchard tree or perhaps one of those graceful redwoods in your woods. They look very settled. Enjoying your settled tree, inhale and exhale. If you wish, you can reach your branches towards the sky. Notice if you feel more or less settled here, and choose what feels good to you. Sometimes the hands at heart centers is more settled, and sometimes your branches make you more settled. Noticing what feels good. Letting the energy shift and move here. Bring your hands back to heart center. Draw your knee towards the front and lower it down. Roll your ankles out with kindness, both directions. Roll your shoulders, and we'll come back to stand, graceful, soft, tall, and settled. Lift up all 10 toes and settle them down with intention. Notice the four corners of the right foot. Ground that tree trunk right down into the earth through your heel. Kickstand the left foot. Knee turns out towards the side. Slowly bring the sole of the foot to the calf and bring your hands to heart center and pause. Breathe in here. Notice the energy come up through that right foot, right through your right leg tree trunk, into your belly, into the heart space, into your hands. And if it would feel amazing, raise your branches towards the sky. You can remember drinking the fog. You can remember a beautiful sunshiny day, leaves dancing, or even a leafless tree, a leafless winter tree, looking beautiful with the snow sparkling on it. All the different ways that trees can be settled. Noticing that winter is often a time of more settled, even though the holiday period makes us perhaps feel less so. Breathing in right into the heart space, the space behind the heart, that pocket. And exhale, let it go. And one breath all the way down into your navel and your belly. Reach your fingers tall, still. Exhale, let it out. Bring your hands back to heart center. Draw your knee back towards the front, lower it down, roll your ankles, roll your wrists, undo whatever needs undoing. And we'll come to the top of your mat if you are not still there. Take an inhale. Notice your feet on the floor, lift up your toes. Exhale, lower them down. Bring your hands to your sides. Inhale them out and up. Slight arch back, palms come together. Fold forward, forward, fold towards the floor. Inhale for a half lift, sit bones stick out towards the back. Exhale, fold forward. Once again, inhale for another half lift. Back is flat, spine reaches towards the front, crown of the head reaches towards the front. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands to the floor, spread your fingers wide, equal pie shape, step back to plank and pause. Engage your belly, strong, settled here. Settled even in the shakes. You can feel settled and strong even if your body is shaking. Tip forward onto your tiptoes, lower your knees, elbows come in towards your torso, untuck your toes and lower down chaturanga towards the earth. Forehead or third eye connects to the floor. Taking a moment to notice if this feels settled, a prone shavasana-like position. Notice your third eye on the floor, palms lightly on the floor, front of the hips on the floor, tops of the feet on the floor. Take a breath in, sending it all the way back through the back of the heart, down into your belly, perhaps all the way down to your feet. Exhale, let it out. Inhale, lift up into a low cobra. Weight is out of your hands. Heart shines forward, engaging the lower back with kindness. Don't overdo it. Exhale, lower down. Once again, inhale for low cobra. And exhale, lower down. And a reminder that all of this is a suggestion. So you make the decisions about what feels good. Some of you need less movement and more holding.
Others of you need more movement, so adapt as needed. Curl your toes, press into your hands, lift up to downward dog once again. And find a downward dog that feels good to you. Taking a moment to spread all 10 fingers wide, equal pie shapes. Spread the palmar surface of your hand into the earth. The palmar surface of every knuckle presses downward, wrists engaged, elbows engaged. If this bothers your wrists, you can use blocks or you can use fists. Take a moment to notice the balls of your feet on the earth. Engage your belly. Inhale, raise your left leg towards the sky, coming into three-legged dog. Press that left heel into the back wall, arms engaged, leg engaged. Send the breath right in through your belly, all the way out that left heel. Noticing that you can feel settled and strong here. Exhale, let it out. In this very awkward position. Inhale once again. Send the breath all the way in through your nose, through your mouth. Into the heart space, perhaps down the right leg this time. Exhale, gently bring that left foot between your hands, coming into Anjaneyasana or low lunge, and grab your blocks if they would feel good to you today. And if you don't have blocks, no worries. Wiggle the left toes as far forward as they need to be safe. Make sure that your left knee is not beyond your left ankle. So it's at 90 degrees, and your back knee, squinch it back a little bit. And enjoy the stretch. It's so sunny here in California. That didn't work. I'm gonna adjust. Enjoy that release in the front of the right thigh, pardon me. And your torso reaches towards the sky. Heart is light, spine is tall. Inhale, drink the breath right in through your nose, sending it down all the way into your belly. And exhale, breathing out any unsettled tension that would like to move. Notice perhaps how you feel different already than when we started on the other side. Does your body feel more settled? And noticing what that feels like so you can connect back to it when needed. Breathe in into that back of the heart space. Exhale, sink in and enjoy it. If your hands would enjoy being on your heart, or you would enjoy hand to heart, do that. Notice what feels good. If it feels like an overstretch in the front of the right hip, don't do it. You may have enjoyed it on one side and not on the other. Notice what feels right to your body. 2 more breaths here. Straight your left knee, coming into a half splits. Left toes reaching towards the left knee. Move the blocks, if you have them, towards you so your hands are under your shoulders. If you have no blocks, hands will rest lightly on the left side. Hinge at the waist and shift forward. Your back is flat, your heart is shining towards the front. Crown of the head is reaching towards the sky. Reach your toes back towards your knee. Spread your toes wide. Enjoy the energy that comes in through the toes. Play with the toes a little bit. Spread them as wide as you can. And if you're still working to engage with your toes, just have fun with whatever toe movement you can make happen at this point. It takes a while. Point your toes towards the floor, lengthen the front of the shin, and enjoy the sensations. Flex your toes towards your knee, towards your nose. Once again, point them towards the front of the mat, lowering them as close to the mat as you can. Flex your toes towards your knee. Take an inhale
If you wish, hinge down a little bit farther towards that front leg and enjoy it. Once again, letting the tension in the back of the hamstring soften. Noticing that you can release a little bit of the unsettled. Sometimes we think that tightening is the answer to the unsettled, or tamping it down or pressuring it, but often it's softening and letting it just percolate and move and dance around, and then it eases. Walk your hands forward. We'll bend to the front knee. Lift up to a low lunge. And we'll come into pyramid pose. You'll hop your back foot forward. Both toes reach towards the front. Both legs are straight. Hands on blocks if you have them, and if not, on your thigh. Back is flat. Inhale into the back of the left leg, breathing into it. Enjoying whatever pops up as you do that. You can bend your elbows if you're on the block and fold forward a smidge more. Inhale once again. Exhale, release. One more breath here. We'll walk the blocks or your hands forward. Shift your weight into the front foot. Raise your back leg up to hip height. Press the heel into the back wall. Standing splits. Your hands can be on the earth if you don't have blocks. The intention is hips parallel to the floor. Notice if you've gone wonky, and even out the weight in your hands wherever they might be. Right heel presses into the back wall, left leg engaged. Lots of shaking and wobbling here. And yet you can still feel settled. Lower your back foot to the floor in a pigeon toe or slightly angled. Pop the back foot back about 2 feet. Cartwheel your arms up, open into warrior two here. Have fun with it. You should have a nice wide lane between your feet, your heel. Be heel to heel alignment. Left knee bends. Make sure your left knee does not extend beyond your left ankle. Arms in either direction at shoulder height. Gaze is over the left middle finger. Warrior two. Drink in the breath, send it right down through your central core, right into your belly, into your pelvis. Exhale, settle into this warrior two. Strong, stable, no matter what else is going on in the world around you. Drink in the settled breath. Send it everywhere, all the way from all the fingers in either direction. Notice the tingles. Exhale, settle in. Another huge inhale. Exhale, lower your right hand down your right thigh. Reach your left fingers gracefully towards the crease between the ceiling and the back wall. Fan open the ribs, breathe into them. Exhale, sink in a smidge more, enjoy it. Inhale, filling every nook and cranny. Exhale, cartwheel your arms back to warrior two. Pause for a moment. Enjoy the very settled feeling of this warrior pose. Exhale, release, lower your left hand to the outside of the left foot. Pop your back foot forward to meet the front, coming into a forward fold. Sink your hips down and back, right into chair pose. Hands come to heart center. Another quite settled yet unsettled pose. Hips sink back, down, and low. Notice your heels connect deeply rooted into the earth and your strong legs holding you up. Lift up all 10 toes, spread them wide, lower them down. Sink your hips back, down, and low. Enjoy it. Drink the breath right into your belly today. Exhale, sink your hips down and low a smidge more. Lower your hands to the floor, straighten your knees, hips release up, head and neck fall towards the floor. Release everything. Hands can come to elbows or to blocks, whatever feels good to you here. Engage your belly and roll up. Inch by inch by inch by inch, your head will be the last to rise. Let the blood flow and energy slowly settle down all the way down in through your feet. Let your fingers wiggle. Just giving yourself a moment, and when you're ready, we will transition all the way to lying down. Allow yourself to settle on the mat when you arrive. And notice that it takes a little intentional settling. Finding a spot that feels amazing. Notice the heels on the floor, your sacrum on the floor, your palms on the floor, elbows on the floor, likely your scapula on the floor, your occiput on the floor. Taking a huge inhale in through your nose, sending it all the way down through the back of the esophagus into the belly once again. Exhale, release, and enjoy that settle. The actual process of settling. Notice here what feels the best to you, what feels the most settled. Is it your hands on the earth, your heels on the earth, the occiput, your sacrum? For each of us, it will be different. And when we can connect to what feels settled, when we're feeling unsettled, we can go right back to a spot or a body part that helps us to feel settled. Send the breath to whatever part of you feels the most settled here. Exhale, let it out. Bend your knees, bring the heels as close to your butt as you can. Wiggle your fingers as close to your heels as you can. Press into your feet and your palms, lift your hips up, shimmy your shoulders underneath you, coming into a bridge. Notice if your feet are too close and your knees are scrunched up, be kind to your knees here. Hands can grab the outer edges of your mat or clasp underneath you, whatever works best for you. Press your hands towards your heels, reach your sit bones as high as you can towards the sky, reach high, 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 high. Breathe into the heart space. Exhale, reach your hips even higher, knees energetically connect, whole back body engaged, your different sensations, let it out. Slowly untuck your shoulders, release your hands, lower your vertebrae down to the earth, inch by inch, unrolling like pearls on a string, and let yourself settle when you arrive. And just notice that settled feeling, the feeling of arrived. We often struggle to feel arrived in our life. We're waiting for there to feel arrived. And so notice these little moments of feeling like you've arrived. Bring your knees into your chest and give them a hug, rock side to side, all the way to the edge where it feels tippy and unsettled. And then back to the middle, to the other edge where it feels tippy and unsettled. And back to the settled sacrum. Hug your forehead towards your knees, squeeze tight, 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 tight in a ball. Exhale, release your knees and feet towards the floor. Soles of the feet come together, knees apart, hand to heart, hand to belly, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclining butterfly. Notice the settling here. This is one of the most restorative healing poses. If you're feeling unsettled, it's a beautiful one to try. We'll take a few breaths here, beginning to settle heart, spirit, mind into Shavasana, our final pose of integration. But beginning to integrate and settle here. Breathe into the hand over your heart. Let it out. Breathe into the hand over belly. Let it. And let it out. Breathe into that brain space. Let it out. Breathe into the soles of the feet, connected and settled, resting easily against each other. And you can choose to stay here for Shavasana if you wish,
I recommend putting those blocks or pillows under your knees to make it more restful. Or if you prefer, bring your hands to the outer edges of your thighs. Draw your knees together, support them as you do. Stretch your legs long in front, drop your toes towards the outer edge of the mat. Your hands about 6 inches from your waist, palms open, coming into Shavasana. If you wish today, you can flip your palms face down if that feels more settled. Or I invite you to try a hand to heart, hand to belly for Shavasana. Notice what feels most settled to you. And if you wish to grab a blanket or a bolster in your own space, feel free. A bolster under the knees can feel more settled, especially if your back is finicky. Taking in a huge inhale into the heart space. And an exhale, release, letting go and settling into the mat here. Another huge inhale into the belly space. And an exhale once again, allowing yourself to settle. And a final moment to choose the spot where you feel the most settled in terms of your hands. And allowing yourself to settle in fully. Letting your body breathe for itself. Letting the earth hold you and cradle you. And allowing yourself to fully enjoy being settled in this moment. A few moments to integrate and be. For anyone who wishes to enjoy a longer Shavasana, since you're in your own space, gift yourself that time to feel settled and enjoy. For everyone else, and gently, slowly begin to deepen your breath. No rush. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. If it would feel good, reach your arms long above you and your toes long in front of you. Take a huge cleansing inhale and a refreshing exhale. Draw your knees into your chest and roll over to one side and pause there. And notice in that moment how you feel. Perhaps more settled, or perhaps not. A moment to enjoy what you accomplished and enjoyed on your mat today. And to acknowledge and enjoy what you have accomplished this week, today, perhaps even in just coming to yoga. Noticing the good, noticing what's working, noticing what is settled and what's working.
shifting your focus so your heart will grow and the settled feeling can stay. When you're ready, press into your hands and slowly come up to a comfortable seat where we began. If you have a block or a bolster, I encourage you to sit atop. Noticing when you do your sit bones, however you're sitting, connect those ischial spines right down deep into the earth. And notice that settled feeling when you do. Tilt your pelvic bowl forward, stack your spine. Chest is light and facing forward. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Huge inhale. And exhale, drop your shoulders. Keep your hands on your thighs if you wish, or hand to heart, whichever feels more settled to you. Taking in an inhale into the heart space, capturing a bit of the settled feeling to carry forth inside as you move back into the world after practice. An inhale and an exhale, sealing it in. Bring your hands to heart center. Thumbs connect into the sternum. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. May you all enjoy more peace and a little bit more feeling settled as you move through this beautiful winter week. May you all be well. May you all be safe. May you all find joy and a bit more ease. Have a beautiful week.